Hey everyone, Hydra here, and this is Dissention, War Eternal, #1. This is another one by Aspen Comics. This one, though, is Volume 1, #1, so that's pretty cool. I actually get to start off fresh. That was the main reason I got it, because so far every time I've tried Aspen, I've been starting off on like issue 1 of Volume 7, or issue 1 of Volume 9, or accidentally bought like issue 13 of Volume 9 once. So I was just looking forward to this because it was a fresh start and wouldn't have to try and relearn an entire character's history and past. Overall, it's good. The art is okay. So Aspen has this thing where the art all has a very specific style, so it usually looks really good. But then when you really start paying attention to it, sometimes you get like really stiff figures that don't really flow with the page, or you'll get some inconsistencies. I don't know where that comes from, like if they use a specific program or style to get this, but well, I'll just kind of show you what I mean. This is by Jordan Gunderson, Christopher Fielder, Luis Guerrero, and Taylor Esposito. So most of these people I'm not familiar with. I actually am familiar with Taylor Esposito, simply because yesterday on Twitter he was throwing shade at Alterna Comics, saying that nobody can sell a comic for under $2 and still pay the creative team. And I don't know, somebody must have forgot to tell Taylor Esposito, but Peter Samedi of Alterna Comics is going to save comics. Nobody cares about comics as much as Peter, and it is very, very apparent. And nobody else is even trying to put comics out there where other people, especially broke-ass people like we have so many of, can actually afford them, except for Peter Samedi. Where else are you going to find a whole series of comics for fucking $1.50 a piece? No. So, I don't like this man. He was fucking throwing shade at somebody I consider to be, like, extremely good guy. If I had known about that before buying it, I would not have bought it. I didn't see that happen until afterwards, and I am very disappointed in you, Taylor. Not that he gives a shit. So, I'll try not to give anything away. But it's an idea of what the art's going to look like. It's pretty consistent for the most part. There are a lot of stiff figures, though. Basically starts off with a bunch of Inuits, or Eskimos, if you will, sitting around a fire. This guy here is telling stories. These guys are mocking him for being a drunk and crazy and having all these whack-ass stories. So it kind of started to annoy me at first because of this part right here. For centuries, our tribe has kept alive this story of the people, of the first people to come to this land, the story of our people. In our blood flows the history of the first real Americans, our culture, our heritage, our struggle to survive. Get off your high horse, you drunken Indian. You lost the war. Deal with it. But it's really not about that. He's really more pissed off at his own people because they don't give a shit enough about their history to bother learning these stories and tales. And Native Americans gave an oral history of everything. These stories and tales that they tell each other are the only true to them recordings of their history. But you get into the modern culture, people stop caring. They let go of the past, and that shit just dies away and gets forgotten. So I understand what the rage he's coming from. But anyway, he gives us a quick story about the great demons that basically they kind of built the world, and then they started to destroy it, and they were outcast. Gives us an idea of what they look like, though. Of course, sexy women. His family or friends or whatever they are start mocking him for talking about demons and whatnot. I'm like, where do these demons even come from, old man? And then so he gives the Christian idea of where demons are birthed from. We then move to the present, well, technically the past, 2009. And this is where it's hilarious. So, right now, they're being freaking invaded by China. It's just I don't know. I think it's fucking hilarious. We're in some sort of war. China is invading us, and I think they're winning. Uh, oh yeah, some of the stuff about the art. So like, this is all very good, right? Very, very good. And then we get this like awkwardly stiff walking panel and some more awkward standing. Right, that whole section's kind of, and then we get bam, looking smoking hot, like J. Scott Campbell drew her or some shit. Yeah, and then like that, like how big her head was. Weird. So that's, I mean, I think the art is good, but some of the composition I just don't know about. I'm not an expert enough. Need Marmaduke to come in here and give us a lesson on artistic critiquing. Anyway, I don't want to get too much more into this because it is fairly good. It's I enjoyed reading it at least. It's $3.99 for the first issue. I guess that's pretty much common fare for comics nowadays. So the only reason I wouldn't support this is because Taylor Esposito is kind of a douchebag, but at the same time, I don't think Gunderson, Fielder, or Guerrero have any control over that guy, so it's kind of mean to punish their work just because Esposito's a faggot. And yes, I used faggot as an insult on the internet, and I don't care. I do like Gunderson's writing though. So yeah, I recommend this. Check it out. Sorry if I offended you with my words. Hell Hydra, baby.